In the 2008 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls selected the hometown kid Derrick Rose with the #1 pick of the draft. And Derrick Rose took the league by storm. In 2011, he became the youngest MVP till this day. So, why is a 29-year-old, 10-year veteran superstar like Derrick Rose thinking about retiring?
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kiwa Game, and welcome to Hoop Nerds. I know I just did a video yesterday. It was about if Lonzo Ball's a bust or not. If you haven't catch it, you can hit the link somewhere, either up there or up there. I don't know. It'll be somewhere. But I had to do this video today about Derrick Rose and talk about the fact that he's thinking about retiring from the NBA. 29 years old, 10 years in the league, and he's thinking about retiring. This is a former MVP. This is a guy that was arguably at one point in discussions of being the best point guard in the league. Derrick Rose was drafted in 2008 by the Chicago Bulls. He was selected as a guy that was going to lead the team. He was going to be the future of the team. He was going to be the next big thing since Michael Jordan on the Chicago Bulls. And he was on track for that. In 2011, taking home the MVP, beating LeBron James, who a lot of people say LeBron James got robbed. But Derrick Rose was the MVP regardless, averaging 25.7 assists on 45% shooting and 85% from the free throw line. They lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to LeBron James, the Miami Heat at that time. The next year after that, he played just as great, but in a fewer amount of games. And that's really when the bad news of Derrick Rose started. This is when the guy that was looked as the next big thing, as the best player to be at a point guard position in a long time. This guy was considered top 10. He played 39 games the year after winning MVP, but still had a great stat line of 21 points, almost 8 assists. But it was the first round of the playoffs against the 8th seed Philadelphia 76ers that changed everything. That was the year Derrick Rose tore his ACL. That was the year Derrick Rose will never be the same again. He missed the entire 2012-2013 season recovering from his torn ACL. This guy was looked at as now his career took the step down that a lot of people were not expecting. This guy was looked at as the next big thing. This guy was a former MVP and he tore his ACL in the playoffs, misses the next season after that, and it just got worse from there. In the 2013-14 season, Derrick Rose came back from his torn ACL, but unfortunately only played 10 games after tearing a meniscus in his right knee, averaging 15 points a game on 4.3 assists. He only played 10 games that year. He comes back in the 2014-15 season, plays 51 games, and looking like signs of maybe it was owed him coming back from injury. Points declined, averaging only about 16 points a game. But then he tore the same knee, right meniscus again. He still was able to come back for the playoffs, but losing very early in the second round. In the 2015-16 season, which was Derrick Rose's best season since touring his ACL in 2011, he played a total of 66 games, being his most games that he played, averaging 16 points and 4 assists. However, he did start off the season injured, having to wear a face mask, but it was his best complete game in a long time. The year after that, the 2016-17 season, the Chicago Bulls decided that they were going to take a new direction. They were going to go younger. They were going to rebuild around their new superstar in Jimmy Butler, and it was time to let go of Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose gets traded to my team, the New York Knicks. Derrick Rose said after being traded to the Knicks that it was the best thing that could have happened to him in that offseason because he said that it was a chance for him to prove that he could still be an MVP player. It was his chance to prove to everybody that he is not a washed up guy that everybody thought he was going to be. And you know what? He started off playing really well. For the New York Knicks, his only season as a Knick, he played 64 games. He averaged 18 points a game. He averaged 4 assists a game. However, there was a game where he didn't even show up for it because he had to fly back to Chicago saying he was dealing with personal issues and he was trying to feel back for the love of basketball and all this. But unfortunately, he only played 64 games because Derrick Rose got injured yet again, getting his fourth knee surgery. He tore his meniscus in his left knee, the same knee that he tore his ACL in back in 2012. Derrick Rose suffered so many injuries. He suffered four major knee surgeries in his career. This season, in the 2017-18 season, he signs a vet contract of $2.8 million to play for the Cleveland Cavaliers to play alongside LeBron James. Derrick Rose has only played 7 games this season, suffering a sprained ankle, and he is now at home with a leave of absence, debating on whether or not he should retire, if it's even worth playing with all these injuries. Even though he's leaving money on the table, even though if he does retire, he's gonna lose out on a lot of endorsement deals, but doesn't know if his body can handle another injury. Here's the thing about Derrick Rose that always bothers me. Yes, if you look up players in the NBA, there are a lot of players whose careers fell short due to injuries. There are a lot of NBA players that had the potential of being a superstar or being the franchise player, but they couldn't live up to it because of injuries. The difference between those players and a Derrick Rose was that Derrick Rose, he hit the top of the mountain. Derrick Rose was a superstar. He won the MVP. He reached that mountain where you could label him a legit superstar. And it was right when you gave him that title, that belt, it was when he decided to fall off. It was when the injuries got him. So you can't really compare him to other players. And there were a lot of great players. And there are players still in this league. When you talk to guys like Grant Hill, who was supposed to be the LeBron James before LeBron James, and we saw sparks of it, but we never saw it because came so early. You talk about a guy like Sean Livingston, who was supposed to be the next best point guard in the league, and he couldn't because of injuries. You talk about even Eric Gordon, who at one point people were saying was going to become the best superstar, two shooting guard superstar in this league, and he was never lived up to that because of injuries. You can't put Derrick Rose in that category because Derrick Rose was a superstar. Derrick Rose was one of those guys that shown that yes, I'm a superstar, I could play, but he couldn't maintain it because of injury. You have to put him in a category like maybe a Tracy McGrady or a Yao Ming, guys who've shown that they are legitimate superstars and they fell because of injury. Derrick Rose is in that category. So to see Derrick Rose at 29 years old and only in his 10th year and talking about that he's thinking about retiring, I mean, maybe you could put him in the same category as a Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy, man, I missed that guy. Come back. That guy fell short because of injuries. You look at a guy like Michael Redd who had all the potential there to become a superstar and couldn't and just fell. Derrick Rose is one of those guys now. Derrick Rose was a guy that was a legitimate superstar. Derrick Rose was arguably the best point guard. He was playing in conversations with a Chris Paul, Darren Williams at the time, even an upcoming Russell Westbrook. Derrick Rose fell because of injuries. Injuries took the worst out of Derrick Rose, and that's something that we unfortunately cannot get back. And I hope Derrick Rose decides not to retire and we can't see him. And maybe he can have that one great game in the playoffs this year for the Cavaliers that changes the momentum for him and maybe make him to the finals. Maybe Derrick Rose wins a ring. Who knows? But the fact is that Derrick Rose has fallen because of injury. And this is why he is thinking about retiring from the NBA at just 29 years old in his 10th year. And that's just something that we're going to be on the lookout for. We're going to see. I'm going to keep you guys updated about because I don't want him to retire. And I hope he doesn't retire. And all the best to Derrick Rose, really. And I hope he can come back. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for joining in and watching me talk real quick. I know this is my second video in the same week. I said I want to do more videos in a week. If you enjoyed this video, please, 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 please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If there's anything you want me to talk about moving forward, about any current thing that's happening, any situation, a player, whatever, let me know. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'm a basketball geek. I love anything that has to do with basketball. I'm a nerd about this stuff, and I love getting on and talking basketball with you guys. So come and watch me join. Subscribe to my channel. It will mean a lot. Anyway, guys, I'm Kid with Game. This is Hoop Nerds. I will catch you next week. Later.